Savage Report.
Welcome to the Savage Report, and I'm here with my gang.
It's Leela Biz.
It's your boy Nino.
And we got a special guest.
Yes, we do.
The infamous. The legendary.
What up?
World renowned.
DJ. Lonnie B.
DJ Lonnie B in the building. What's going on?
Chilling, man. It's an honor to be here, man.
It's an honor
I've been watching y'all show from afar, so to actually be on here, I feel like, feel special.
That's
Appreciate
right,
that.
man. I'm glad we getting out there finally. You know what I mean? But having you here, I know we crunched on time, but we definitely are grateful that you came to rock with us.
For sure.
I feel like this is the next level for us. So let's get into it, man.
All right.
Your history. You're like a legend, and to me, nationally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, especially the younger generation, they tend to not know their history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. Let's start off with, how did you get into DJing, music? What drew you to that, being from the RVA 804?
I've always loved music. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So I got the glove, the jacket, all. Listen, all of that. I was, funny story. I was in and I still have the invite, the flyer and everything. I was in a Michael Jackson lookalike dance contest at King's Dominion. At King's Dominion, 1985. I'll never forget. And I actually lost to a little kid that looked like James Brown, and I was traumatized.
Traumatized.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, he don't even look like Mike.
So,
for sure. Yeah, but
you was moonwalking? Was you nice?
No,
with the
listen,
moonwalk?
like anybody. So, like again, I'm older, but anybody that went to like J.L. Francis, like in the mid '80s, they'll tell you like two things that I did for real, like not even joking. Before I started DJing and rapping, was dance and play basketball. Like there are people that know me as a playground legend. Seriously, because
everybody say that. Everybody say that. Playground.
I gotta see it
at Broad Rock and J.L. Francis around like that whole Michael Jordan era. Like
okay. So what part of Richmond did you come up in?
Southside.
Southside.
Okay, Southside, outside.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And what time frame was this that you started to like fall in love with hip hop?
I fell in love with hip hop when I first heard Planet Rock. That was like 1980, 81, around that time. Whenever Planet Rock came out, I was living in Walmsley Terrace apartments, and I'll never forget.
I used to do that too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, small world. I'll never forget riding my big wheel up and down the hill. The guys were playing basketball, and I just heard something that sounded different than the Marvin Gaye's and the stuff that was out there prior. So from that point forward, I was just in love with hip hop. Fast forward, of course, the Run DMCs, UTFOs, Fat Boys, all them guys came out. But when I saw Jam Master Jay behind those turntables, I was intrigued by it. Fast forward to my freshman year at Huguenot, I bumped into DJ Drake. DJ Drake, another DJ who is definitely one of the legends around here. He was the first person that I ever seen around here with two turntables and that could actually do the stuff that I had seen all these other guys doing on TV. And from that moment forward, Drake took me under his wing and taught me the ins and outs of DJing. And, here we are.
Man, that's crazy.
Was you DJing around the time, it might be off with time, but was you DJing around the time the Bradley Brothers was out here?
No, I don't think so. No.
How long ago was that?
That might have been early.
70s?
Maybe.
No, I definitely remember, it might have been a little later than the 70s, but it was definitely 70s, but definitely in the 80s as well. But I won't spend it around that time.
So
He not that old.
so when you was with DJ Drake, right?
Yeah.
What's some experiences you got from that? What's some things that you learned from him?
And what age is this? You said this is
my freshman year in high school.
That's
so,
dope.
Yeah. So
14, 15.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I'll never forget asking Drake is, how do you know what to play behind what? Like, you have all these records, all these songs.
Yeah.
Little did I know later on in my career, it was, what I did was, without him giving me an answer, I used to take my records and have a stopwatch. And I would, count the beats for 30 seconds, multiply it by 2, and put that number on the record. And later on found out that's the beats per minute. So I would put my records in order by that, separated by genre. Like, there's a whole bunch of real nerd stuff. Then around that time, that's when I figured out, oh, this is what you do. But one of the things I remember clearly is having two turntables, a bunch of records, and not knowing what to play behind what to make it make sense.
When did you first realize that you knew how to work a room? He was like, man, I could really control the room because my boy DJ Frank Wright, he DJs, and I tell him all the time, like, you know, I get up here and talk, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
But to control the room with the music, you got the aux cord. You get nervous.
Yeah.
So when did you know that you could rock a room, you can control it, the energy, the vibe?
It was just, you know, through the journey. And the more you do it, the more you learn your audience. You learn what people like. You know, I study a lot of DJs, so a lot of times, like if I'm not spinning, I might go to a spot that, you know, DJ Ray Vaughn, Marcus Gold, Nobi, Ron P, and watch how, you know, how they play the records that they play for the room. Every now and then they'll play something that I might not even know, and I'll watch the response in the room and be like, okay, I need to, you know, add that to my arsenal. So a lot of it is just research and trial and error.
What were some of the situations that you might have would have gotten to early on that you've overcame? Like,
give me an example. Like
challenges.
DJ wise, I guess from a technical side, mixing the records. Like it used to take me a long time to get the records on beat. You know what I'm saying? Because before you had the computers where you can actually see the BPMs. You literally gotta, so you got to listen and it'll be also. I was very particular. So you know, one of these a DJ back in the day used to make fun of me and talk about how long it would take me to bring the next record in. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing. The other thing was the business side of things.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started, I was DJing at J.L. Francis Recreation Center, and you know, they used to pay me a hot dog and a soda every time I would be there. But that was enough for me around that time.
Was it in high school?
I was in high school.
School.
I was in high school, but I was DJing for the rec center. So every Friday from like about 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, all the kids from the neighborhood, from the youngest of the young to the teenagers, would be at the Francis Rec Center. And to me, it's crazy because a lot of that music that I played there and a lot of the people that used to be there are the people when I look in the crowd at All the Noise. And you know what I'm saying? So, and even their kids at this point, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. But, you know, when I first started getting money DJing, it was 35, then it went to 75. And around that time, I was scared to ever ask for $100. So I guess just getting to the point where I was able to up that fee for DJing. Yeah.
So what made you get that
courage?
Get that thing on your back. Like, I'm him and I deserve this $100.
October 20th.
You know the date.
That's what I'm talking about. It means something.
It's the day that changed my life.
Yeah, October 20th, 1992. Me and my friend, one of my closest friends, Ike, we live in the neighborhood, but our birthday the same day. I did my first party. I threw my first quote-unquote Lonnie B party. It was at my Uncle Roy house on Sarah Lane, right off of Orcutt Lane.
Okay.
So I was the first person.
You've been everywhere.
Southside. That's Southside though for you.
I was the first person around that time. My aunt worked at a business that had the Xerox machine, so I made like the big paper flyers.
Yeah.
So my guy Twan drew the flyer, and we passed it out. My Uncle Roy's crib, my uncle was slam packed. Like everybody that I went to school with, everybody from the neighborhood was there. It was a line literally trying to get into the party. Now, what you got to understand is back then in a house, it don't take that many people to fill up a house. Yeah. But everybody left that party saying Lonnie's party was packed. You know, you should have, you missed Lonnie's party. So then it was the snowball effect. Me and my partner Twan, Speedus Twan, who's actually one of my videographers now, we started throwing parties in the neighborhood, and it was just a snowball effect. Then eventually we went to the Days Inn, which later became Armani's.
Yeah,
Armani. I never got a chance to club there. It shut down by the time I was old enough to go.
Yeah.
So by then we went from, you know, house parties to small lounges. Now we're packing this spot. There was a club in Petersburg called Magic City, that was kind of big back then, and the promoter name is Mouse Jones. He was real big, and
Mouse Jones.
And what was funny about it was his club wasn't never packed. I don't want to say never packed, but it wasn't as packed as it would be the nights I did my party. So what he was like, I need to get in touch with this kid. So we finally connected. And Mouse Jones was the first person to pay me like big money. He paid me like $500.
Yeah.
to come DJ for like 15 or 20 minutes.
And you was scared to ask for 100.
But yeah. So it was at that point that I realized it. Fast forward to now, it really wasn't too much about the DJ part. He knew that I was a draw. He knew that my brand was going to draw people. So he saw the value in that. So he's like, yo, if I pay him this money, I don't have to compete with him. Yeah. Everybody's going to come here. And
yeah.
I want to slide into Super Friends.
Okay.
Yeah, and like, so like, how did that even arise? Like, who said, let's start a rap group?
Yeah. And how y'all go from all of these members to who's left now?
So Super Friends was definitely my vision. I would probably say it was definitely a vision of mine because I wanted to be affiliated with some of the members. In my eyes, they were some of the best, in the city that the city had to offer. Sure. Of course, I mean, you can't even start that conversation without mentioning Skills.
Yeah,
Skills,
sure. Shout out to Skills.
Yeah. So when Skills was in the Source magazine, the Unsigned Hype, and they were talking about him having a record deal. Yeah. Initially, I didn't know him. Like we weren't friends at that point. Like so. Okay. Imagine me seeing like, wow, somebody from our city got a record deal. Like it would be dope to be affiliated with this guy, and who knows, maybe I could actually be on his album. Fast forward to his album dropping, I'm the first voice that you hear on his album.
No, for sure. I do my research.
Yeah. So I'm the first voice that you hear on his album, and me being affiliated with him helped me create some of the best, biggest relationships that I have in the industry. But there was a radio show at 90.1, University of Richmond, that we used to all go up to, and Mike Street was the DJ, and he used to do this thing called the Fat Freestyle Cypher, where a lot of rappers would just come up there and rap. So a lot of the members of the Super Friends were the guys that would come up there every weekend and rap. One day we were sitting at Danger's house, just everybody from the station, and I was like, yo, our rap styles are different. You know what I'm saying? We're all from different places. It kind of reminds me of the Super Friends. They were from different places. They had different powers, but as a collective, they was unstoppable. And from that point forward, it just stuck and we ran with it.
So answer me this. Out of the Super Friends, what's everyone's superpower to you?
Honestly, so, back then when I thought that, it was always, I was thinking the way that their flows, their voices, their approaches, their content. But where I'm at now, I look back at it, it was creativity. It was a collective of creatives. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because even fast forward to now, without being behind the mic, we still use those creative powers, whether it's videography, photography, DJing, marketing. Like we still all have that same approach that we had behind the mic in different ways. So
okay. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Mad Skills do the end of the year wrap up.
He used to.
Yeah, he don't do it no more. Yeah.
I know you and Skills still tight.
Yeah, it's like my brother.
How does he feel about that situation? I mean, I've seen some stuff, but you actually know him personally. How does he feel about Uncle Murder doing the wrap up now?
I think that's the furthest thing from his mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think in the moment, like I guess with anybody, it would definitely be a big thing. So one thing anybody from the Super Friends would tell you that is me and Skills were the biggest two competitors in the crew. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So anytime stuff like that happens, like anytime any rap beef, like even now the Drake kid, like we'll always get on the phone, me and him, because I don't really do too much debating online, but he's the one person that I know that understands it. He was in the in the trenches doing the stuff. So so with that being said, like I mean the things that Skills has done, the things that he's doing, that's the furthest thing from his mind, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to these bars, you know what I'm saying?
On top of all of that,
I like
bro.
Murder. Yeah. I like Uncle Murder, you know what I'm saying? He's a legend in his own right. But when it comes to these bars, though, especially if I'm going off the head, we going, come on, it's really no comparison.
On top of all that, bro, it meant something, you feel me? Because his wrap-ups, it's somebody that you know locally and you respect being from your hometown. Yeah. But that shit was worldwide. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
He's done enough year after year after year. Everybody was waiting for the Skills wrap up. You feel me? For him, so for him to not do it now, it's like respect, because I know it's bigger and better things. You feel me? Throughout this journey, you've been DJing so long. It's bigger and better things that you're also doing along with DJing. What are some of those things that you've branched off and started to do? you feel me, that DJ that might have opened that door for you to get to it?
One of the things that I look back and I'm very proud of is the fact that I taught my daughter, how to DJ. Like she's
that was my next segue.
And like to watch her go from me getting her off the bus, and because her mom was at work, she had to go with me to the radio station.
Yeah,
when I did the 5 o'clock mix, and when I finished the mix, to watch her in there messing around with the turntables. So one day I was watching her, and I went in there and I told her, just watching how she was moving and touching everything, and I was like, you know what? You really could do this if you wanted to. And she actually showed a little bit of interest in it. And, I'll never forget, I still have videos of it. I started thinking, how can I teach her this? And the fact that she was a cheerleader. Mm-hmm. So I started with the count, the 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2.
Yeah.
That was one thing. And I told her to look at the record, look at the turntable like it's a clock. And this is 12 o'clock. And, so just those small things just took her to the next level. Fast forward to now, she's on the radio. She's the youngest member of the DJ crew that I'm in, the Heavy Hitters.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to her. That's dope.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she's definitely doing her thing. Outside of that, my next thing that I want to do is launch my own internet radio station, which I've been working on for the past 5 years. I've been paying the money for 5 years. I think my biggest flaw is I'm a perfectionist. So, yeah. So it's like
kind of like Sirius Radio.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. I really want to make it more geared toward the DJ and the creators. There's a lot of politics in radio, and it's a lot. So a lot of handcuffs. So I really want to, almost create a musical playground where people can just come be creators and people who love that can come and hear that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me ask you this: how was the relationship with the local artists trying to blow in the DJ back then when you were coming up, and how is it now? Like, has it changed? Or do people still have to go through the DJ?
Still need the DJ?
You know what I'm saying? Do you still have to go through the DJ to get that big hit in your city, which might get you to in Atlanta somewhere or to New York that can take you worldwide?
I think once upon a time, the DJ will always be important.
Oh, yes.
Always.
It started with the DJ.
Yeah. But it's a different day. And I could probably speak from the radio thing. Like, early on, you definitely would have to go through the DJs to get your song on the radio. Mm-hmm. Then they inserted the politics of you can't play anything that's not on a mix show, Yeah. So that was one thing. The other thing was, fast forward to now, you really don't, because of social media wasn't around years ago. Now with social media, like you can build a hit, and people will come to me and ask me, yo, can you play such and such a song? I've never even heard it. And when I play it, people lose their mind. 2 songs I can name off the bat that I had never heard of a day in my life. Somebody walk up to me. Number 1 was J. Roddy Rod. What a twerk is that? I'm in the club. Everybody kept asking for this record. I had never heard it. Trying to figure out why I didn't. I played
right
it.
Here.
Yeah,
right
I played it.
That shit took over.
The club went crazy. Red Rum, Look at There. Was another one. I never heard either one of those records. So I always give those brothers props because they were 2 of the first. During a time where a lot of people were leaning on radio, they showed people that I don't need radio. I'm going to make this record big without it. And I never forget calling Roddy Rod and telling them like, bro, I never got a chance to really play or be a factor in what happened or how your record blew and took off.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say I respect and admire what you did and just wanted to send them some love. So so much love to them.
What was the biggest like movement you've seen come through Richmond? Like that we might not even be familiar of before our time or even something current like a J. Roddy Rod or
I humbly speaking, it's a lot of dope movements, but I definitely have to say the Super Friend movement.
Yeah.
And I say that humbly because you're talking about 30 years. Like, the Super Friends came together in 1994, 95, and here we are 35 years later, still in positions to do things. So, I will, strictly base my opinion on the longevity because there's a lot of different people, like some major, now there's a lot of artists who had records that I can say we've never been in the spaces that they've been in, like the GMGBs.
Yeah.
Okay. My boys.
J-Mac.
Yeah.
Ruin, you know what I'm saying? They had records like Southside Superstar. Booty Bounce. They had records.
Big Get It.
Big Get It, yeah. So that's the one thing I can say. The Super Friends never had a record like that. Outside of Joe Dozier, you know, rest in peace, Dozier.
Rest in
Joe
peace.
Dozier, with his caddy man, and by far, you know, in my opinion, Joe Dozier will always go down as one of the best songwriters that I've ever, you know,
I used to
encountered.
love that song.
Yeah. You know, so but there's a lot of guys again, like the J. Roddy Rod, the Red Rums, like these guys had records that like we could never. I don't have one record that I could play behind their record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That would impact. But I think again, when I'm basing movements on is longevity, is power, is influence. You know what I'm saying? So
So let me ask you this: when you think about the times when you first started and you came up in Richmond in the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that, and you see the way Richmond is now, what's a big difference between Richmond now and then Richmond back then when you were coming up? The energy level. Because you said you had a house party.
Yeah.
House party in today's world?
Yeah.
In today's Richmond?
Yeah.
I heard it might have been the last house party. I graduated 09. That might have been.
People that graduated like 08, 09, 2010, I feel like after that, house parties are too dangerous, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, how would you, like, in the music in Richmond, how do you think the energy with the music has changed from when you came out and to what it is now?
You know, it's a lot of, it's very territorial. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, you know, repping, I guess, where they're from. So
neighborhoods.
So the one thing that I could say that was different about when I was coming up, like I was probably one of the first people, you know, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I was probably one of the first people to scream Southside. I mean, Southside Richmond on a national platform. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, I represented Southside, I mean, to the fullest and still do to this day, but I never represented it to a point where it was disrespectful.
To the other side.
So when I would be in a club, like, it's a lot of brothers that I got a lot of respect for. I got millions of pictures from the club days, but the guys from Highland Park would put their Highland Park necklace around my neck and we would, you know, drink and take shots. It was never a disrespect thing. I think that if brothers could represent it, but not in a way that it was threatening to anybody else, it could kind of be a little bit better. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of blood that's been spilled in Richmond. It's a lot of like the music in Richmond. You got your guys that have more low key rap, like true to the roots raps. But the guys that's getting a lot of exposure out of Richmond, it's a lot of the quote unquote gun raps. You know what I mean? Like that's I be hearing some of these guys' music in Richmond, and it's just like, Jesus, like this is how y'all living? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I like when I moved up to Richmond, I felt like it was more like I came up in like a party era. People were still dancing, people were still doing that, and now it's like these guys is walking around.
I don't even think they know how to dance.
They got big guns on them. They got these guys that's ready for war, man. It's Richmond has changed a lot in my eyes just in the past 5 to 10 years. I can only imagine
what you've seen,
especially with the music. Like, you ever get rappers that still come to you and be like, "Hey, can you play this?"
All the time.
Like, what's the craziest thing you done heard? Like, you ever had somebody give you a CD and you listen to it and you like, Jesus?
No, I have. Yeah. But you know, the one thing about me is I try to tell people, you just got to be consistent because
you hit them with the keep grinding.
Yeah, no. So the one thing I try to tell them is
you'll get there
Keep grinding.
I try to explain to them and tell them that this entire game, I don't care what it is built off of relationships. Yeah. So when you approach me, let's build a relationship. Let's not make it about this record because there is a high chance I might not like your record. And if it's just about the record, then
high chance.
Yeah, it's a high. Yeah, we'll get to that. But if we just make it about the record, when I tell you I don't like your record or it's not nothing that I could play on the radio or whatever, you're getting your feelings.
Yeah,
like,
there's no relationship.
Fuck that dude. I don't really, you know.
Yeah, now you gotta watch it back and shit.
But, you know, what I always try to do, anybody that I've ever come across, I try to get on the game because, again, I quit my regular 9-to-5 job in 1997. And I've navigated through the music industry and I've sent kids to college, bought houses, cars, and all that off of hip hop and DJ money. So what I try to do is give them the knowledge and the things that I've, you know, used, the plays that I've ran for my life so they can use it for themselves. And the biggest thing is, you know, relationships. There's a couple guys who I had relationships with that might have played their music for me. And I mean, for instance, Big Giddy was one. Big Giddy was a very humble guy that he would always approach me and give me his music. I listen to it. I'd be like, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. One day I was riding down the street and I heard DJ Foot play, what's the joint? Disco Ballin'. I heard
the one with the video.
Disco
Ballin'. So I heard DJ Foot play Disco Ball on the radio, and I heard it, and I realized it was Get It. I called him. I say, bro, this the one I've been telling you that you need it. And
for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shred and
J Mac when he made Booty Bounce. This is when MySpace was out. I went to his MySpace page, and I heard the record, and I said, bro, I need that record. He gave me that record, and I started playing it on the radio the next day. And so it's just, for me, I'll look for those records, and I have to feel something for me to jump out there on it. Now on the flip side, again, I just told you a great story about J. Roddy Rod.
Yeah.
When I heard what a twerk is at, in my opinion, from a engineering standpoint, it was probably one of the worst recorded records that I ever heard. So for me, that's the first thing that stood out to me.
Closet recordings.
Yeah. But what that says is,
trenches.
it wasn't a record that I would jump out there on. But once he proved that it was a force to be reckoned with. So I have no choice but to rock the joint.
Do you think that, like, I'm not saying that J. Roddy Rod is like any type of one hit wonder, but I haven't heard a song that prolific. That song was up here. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to drop something better than that, because I still go to if I go to the club right now, you're going to hear where the twerk is at.
To this day.
Right now, do you think that could hinder someone having a number one hit like that? Like, might not be number one in the charts, but in your city, your town, like this is it. Do you think that can hinder you from dropping something better? Like, even with Red Rum, like, his first song, like, he dropped that I ever heard with him, I haven't heard anything else.
I don't think he lives here anymore.
No, he doesn't. But I gotta say, Rum is probably his sound and his consistency is unlike anything that I've seen. Like, he has a lot of fire records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But why don't Richmond push it like that? You get what I'm saying?
The politics.
The way that I heard where the twerk is at, I don't hear that push behind any of his other music. Neither with Red Rum in the city. Like his first single was everywhere.
Yeah, you talking about almost 20 years ago though. Like, it's just a different time, unfortunately. And again, I don't think that should be the focus of any artist, because here's the thing: you're talking about getting your song played on a medium that most people only tune into this thing when they get in the car.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's in their crib say, let me turn on and listen to the top 99 in 2024. Like,
for sure.
So, but the one thing that people will do, the first thing they do when they wake up in the morning, or when they're on their lunch break, or when they're about to go to bed, is scroll on their phone. So that is where you want to be, because your chances of getting somebody's attention there is way greater than on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Because even on the radio, if I'm listening to the radio and they go to commercials, I'm going to Apple Music, I'm going to something else, and I'm never coming back. So if they do play your song on the radio, who's going to hear it? And no disrespect to radio, because I work for radio.
But that's true. That's not how it works.
Do you think that radio, like, I see that radio is no longer controlled by the DJs. Do you think it's controlled by the record labels now? Do you think that they give you a certain artist to play, to push above other artists? Because even if that song isn't as hot as another song, they still want you to push this song. Do you think radio is controlled by, the powers to be?
The man.
Man, it's always been the music business. And you got it. I guess without going too deep into it, it's always been the music business. And one thing I can say about the business is this. In this market, there's 2 radio stations, right? This is the one thing that people don't really realize when they think about that. You want me to play your new record that you just recorded in your closet yesterday, and and you feel like everybody in the world, in the city, want to hear it, they need to hear it.
They're gonna love it.
Yeah, that's in your mind. Yeah. So I go to play your record, right? Everybody in the city is like, yo, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
They go to 106.5 The Beat, and they playing Moneybagg Yo. And they're gonna stay there.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, like, you're happy. You're rapping to your brush, your comb, whatever. All your friends tweeting and doing all that.
I'm on the radio, y'all.
everybody that's not affiliated with you, they'll switch. Yeah. And I done lost my entire audience. Yeah. So, again, same thing in the club. Like, imagine me being in the club and you walking up to me, I got the club rocking.
Yeah.
And yo, like, bro, I just recorded this song in my closet last night. It's the hottest thing ever. You bring me your jump drive. I play it. Mm-hmm. Everybody clears the dance floor, and you're in the middle of the dance floor. You know,
So you've been on tours before, right?
Been on tours?
Yeah, like you've been a DJ on a tour?
Never.
You've never done a tour before?
No.
Have your DJing ever took you outside of this country?
Yeah.
What was that like? Being outside the country, what's the difference between an American audience and then a out of this country audience, overseas audience?
Well, even when I was overseas, it was still like a lot of people, our people from the States, were from a bunch of different areas. The one thing I think that's humbling is it's one thing to like travel the world because I'm somebody's DJ but you know, I built a brand that took me out. My brand and people liking the way that I DJ has actually got me, you know, out of the country here.
I have a question.
All right.
Mr. Lonnie. Have you thought about creating a festival with your brand? Because I know you do the Art of Noise and that's really big, but like you have a really strong backing and people love to come to your festivities. Yeah. Have you thought about doing a festival?
Yes. And it's definitely something that could be in the works. You know, I don't, want to jump the gun too soon, but even doing the outdoor Art of Noise, like we've done the Art of Noise at Browns Island quite a few times. It's a heavy lift, and what people don't understand is every time that we've done it out there, I've had a few sponsors. Shout out to Virginia Lottery, shout out to Pops, a couple other people that gave me sponsorship money, but it was never like they were sponsoring a chunk of what needed to happen. Like, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars that, I had to, it's like, it was almost like going to the crap table every time. So sometimes it's a lot. So I think if I can get the right sponsorship behind me, I definitely would, go that route.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
That's all right, man.
What about, let me get this one. What about,
let me get this one.
What about new DJs that's, trying to, I guess, blow up in the city? Because I think growing up, we tend to thought it was only maybe 5 DJs when really it's probably hundreds of DJs in the city trying to blow up. Like, what's the, I don't want to say the easiest way, but what's the proper way to go about trying to get recognized as a DJ?
Cater to your audience. And, if you think back to what I said earlier, when I first started my DJ career, I was DJing for my neighborhood. I was DJing for the people that I went to school with.
Yeah.
I really didn't care about anything outside of that. And what happened is, the people from my school that had friends in different parts of town, they talked about it. So then they came and flocked to me. So I think the biggest downside to this generation is everybody wants everything instantly. It's that instant cream of wheat mentality. Just add water now.
Be on Coachella. What's going on?
Yeah. So focus on your following. Appreciate the people that are there. Too often I've seen online where people will say, let's say they have a venue and the venue holds 100 people and they throw a party and 15 people show, right? I'll watch them spend more time talking about the 85 that didn't come versus talking about the 15 that was there.
Showed up for
them. You know what I'm saying? So, some of the things that I do, like I did an event that wasn't that packed. And the people that came there to support my event, I had tickets to the Art of Noise. I had tickets to the other things. So it was an incentive like, yo, it's not that crazy in here, but because you came out, here's VIP access to the next huge thing that I do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That's dope, man. So let's get into health.
Okay.
I see that, you started a movement of getting men to really check themselves and, make sure that they're thorough, and go to the doctor more. You want to elaborate on that more?
Yeah. In 2013, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. All our lives, I'm sure we've all heard the cancer word, and I'm sure everybody that's heard it, that's hearing me talk, they all think, never me, it's gonna happen to everybody else in the world, but never me, you know what I'm saying? So, I was dealing with, how when we were in school, they used to always tell you to check yourself. Yeah, I checked myself. I found something that didn't feel that right. I went to the doctor, my main doctor. It's the crazy part. I went to my primary physician and he told me everything was cool, gave me some medication, and like, don't worry about it. Took the medication, things didn't, get better.
Yeah.
My wife was like, I need to go get a second opinion. Me, I'm thinking the doctor said everything was all right. He gave me this medicine. I don't want to hear nothing else different. She stayed on my neck, so I made the appointment to go in. I went to the doctor on a Wednesday. They did an ultrasound, and they were like, we'll have the results for you on Friday. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world am I going to have to wait 48 hours for y'all to tell me if I'm good or not?
Yeah.
I went home with this joint on my mind, heavy, lay across the bed, phone rang. I wake up, it's my doctor. The doctor was like, I hate to call you and tell you this, but after looking at your results, I see all the characteristics of it being cancer. We need you to come back in right now so we can do your blood work, and we're going to operate tomorrow. So I'm thinking to myself, damn, wait, y'all was going to give me the results on Friday. Now y'all operating tomorrow. These people trying to save my life at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what I'm saying?
What stage was this?
What stage was it? I'm gonna get to that.
Go ahead.
Let him tell his story.
I'm into this story.
Yeah. So of course, we were all born with two, and they was like, in order for this, I got to go in and take one of them out. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't. She was like, nah, that's the only thing. Yeah. Like, nah, you got to take it out. So now I'm thinking to myself, all right, so had my robe on, I'm laying down before they do the operation, and I said, Doc, I just got one question, like, what's my chances of being good? He said, I won't know until after the operation. Went down, did the operation, came back out, he said everything was successful, they did everything they needed to do. I had to wait 8 days to get the results.
So long, 8 days.
The longest 8 days of my life. Now, check this out. We don't realize how much cancer is talked about until you're in that space. Everything that I saw that came on TV was about cancer, life insurance, and it was just rough for me. Only people that knew about it was my wife, my brother, and my best friend Danger. I didn't want anybody to start worrying. I didn't tell my mom because my mom's birthday was the next week. I got the results on that Friday. Her birthday party was that Saturday, right? I go to the doctor that next Friday. They told me that it was stage 1.
Okay.
Stage 1, it hadn't spread.
Yeah. That's a
and
blessing.
early detection, because of early detection, I didn't have to go through chemotherapy or radiation. The operation was the operation, and that was it.
That's great.
What were
Praise
some
God.
of those? Yeah, praise God.
Let's clap that out. That's
What was some of the symptoms that you was experiencing? Because some guys might not even know what to even check for.
Yeah, it more. You know how they say it's like a lump. It felt like a lump. And then it felt the texture. It felt like hard. You know what I'm saying? So that was different. Another thing that was pivotal in that moment, like in that time frame after the operation, when I was waiting for the results. Of course, I went through the why me?
Yeah.
Like, why me? Like, how this? And this was around the time. If you look, John Legend had a song 2013 called Who Do We Think We Are? Who do you think we are? And even though it wasn't about that, the first thing that popped in my head was like, who do I think that I am that I'm any more important than the little kids that's fighting cancer or any other people? So that song kind of just put it all into perspective for me. And what I said to myself, crazy enough, is I don't know how much time I got left here, but whatever time I have left, I'm going to spend it on the things that make me happy, which was a lot of the energy that went into the art of noise. You know what I'm saying? So
that's dope.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I got like I haven't had cancer.
Yeah.
But my mom died of cancer like 2 years ago, and I watched her go through it. And that you're right. Like when you turn on TV, everything is about cancer, and it's like I have like an embedded fear of it now, because I seen my mom go through it.
Yeah.
So it's like I am constantly checking myself, going to the doctor, getting these MRIs and these ultrasounds and stuff. Because I'd be afraid of it, but a lot of men don't.
So one of the things that I would say, especially for men, is prostate cancer. Like, so I had testicular cancer. One of the silent joints is that prostate cancer because there's no real symptoms. You know what I'm saying? Until it's too late, or until it's much more advanced. The only way to really check that is to get your PSA, your PSA numbers checked, and so I would recommend just go to the doctor and tell them you want to get your PSA checked. Like, and so right now I'll be 50 in October, but I would recommend anybody like lower 40s as soon as you can Because I know some people that's in their, 30s, early 40s that ended up getting, prostate
That's
cancer.
what happened with Black Panther, ain't it? The
Of,
guy that played Black Panther.
Chadwick.
I think he died of prostate cancer.
Really?
I think he was like
he was under 40, wasn't
under
he?
45, I think.
But that's the reality. I just turned 33, and your body just don't feel all the way the same. You got back problems sometimes. Your knees, basically, based off the type of job you work. So you got to get checked. It might feel crazy, but you got to get it.
I know that since you had the cancer scare, you had to have changed your diet. You had to have really worry about what you eat and how you take care of yourself. Like, what's your diet like now? Are you eating healthier?
Sometimes, I ain't gonna sit there.
I'm trying to put you on the spot.
Don't come here and That's why I'm eating this steak.
I'm very mindful. You know what I'm saying? But as always, I think we all can do more. Anything that we're trying to, improve on in life.
Yeah.
So,
Well, man, we are grateful that you're here still.
Yeah.
You got in front of that, man. Because I
Yeah.
am. That's a scary situation, and I can only understand. Did you have to seek any type of therapy after this situation to get your mind back right at all?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. Another crazy thing was in that 8-day time frame, I'll never forget laying down in the bed, looking up at the ceiling, thinking to myself, this is why I wish I had a son, because at the time I only had 3 girls.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I know what I am to my mother, like as a son. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
no matter what, she's gonna be good. So I was like, if I had a son, my son would be able to make sure his mom is good, his sisters is good if something happened. And like I told you, they went in, took one of the joints out. A couple years later, my wife ended up getting pregnant with my son.
Come on now.
You know what? I heard that it doesn't lessen your chances when you have one testicle. You actually it's more power in that one that I heard. I read that. I read that.
Yeah, I feel like I got all girls too. He has a lot of girls.
I got 4 girls, but I got one son.
I'm the only one up here.
I got one
son.
son.
And I feel like I'm too old to try now. I don't like.
How old are you?
I'm 30. I'll be 34 in August.
Bro, so right now, I had my son when I was 42.
Dang.
Yeah, I had my son when I was 42.
I ain't gonna lie,
Kevin
Hart.
That's tough. I can't agree with that one. The kids is a blessing. But I got the snip.
You have all the kids.
I got the snip.
Yeah, he got the snip, man.
I got 2 sets of twins and a newborn. So I got
2 sets of twins.
2 sets of
Oh,
twins
man.
and a newborn.
First time, Lonnie.
Yeah.
Like, first time. Boom.
Yeah. So
Second time.
when that newborn came up, I was like, this is done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a wrap.
I feel
But,
that. I'm afraid to have another kid, man. For one, it's expensive as hell to do it.
Yeah.
It's an emotional attachment that you got to be ready for.
The emotional attachment. And it's like, what if I have another girl? I can't try for a boy when I'm in my 40s, man. You gotta know. I gotta know for a fact I'm about to have a boy. You know,
That's definitely how I felt. Like again, every time I felt like I was at a crap table.
There we go.
Yeah. And then at this point, I kind of already had in my mind it's gonna be a girl, and I'll never forget. I forgot one of the tests that had to happen. My wife found out that it was a boy, and the way that she told me was, we were doing some type of toy drive. Maybe it was a clothing drive, and she came and bought me a bag for the drive. I looked in it, and it was like a little ball in a car in a blue bag.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, why we looking for?" And then that's when my brain started working. Like, oh, so
you start punching the air. Like, that's all right, man. How long you and your wife been together?
We've been together for 27 years.
Tell them the story.
What story?
How y'all met?
So my wife, so when I first started throwing parties, the bigger parties, I had a close friend named Tony Scott who was actually killed in 97. Early 97. No, not early 97. He was killed in September 97. I had to go to his funeral, and when I left his funeral, I had my own recording studio right across from what's now Rosie's. Back there, they had these office buildings, so I had a studio back there. I walked into my studio, and there was a young lady who just recently came to VCU. She was in there with her boyfriend. And,
there we go.
Yeah. And she was recording a song, and when I saw her, I said, thinking to myself, like, she's a very attractive girl, but she was there with her man. It was what it was. So I would have left it at that. I guess she made comments to my engineer about if she ever got the opportunity to get me by herself. She would wear this, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So that's when I was like, oh, okay, word. So we started to converse. One thing led to another. Now she's my wife.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Was the boyfriend a rapper? Was the boyfriend a rapper?
No. And the funniest thing is, no disrespect to him, but he was like, when he first came there, he said something to her like, you don't know who that is? That's Lonnie B. He rap with mad skills and, such and such and such.
And she was like, it was nice meeting you, baby.
It's a cold world.
It was. Yeah, so
that's dope, though.
Yeah, so and I think it's dope. Fast forward to now, like out of our kids, my daughter Aaliyah, she actually DJs. My daughter Alexis actually sings. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And my wife could really sing. I think that's the one thing that I kind of regret is once our relationship really got serious, she kind of focused more on our relationship and the family more than she did her career.
Yeah.
Does she sing to you a lot?
Did she?
Do she?
Now she does it. No.
You gotta get her to start singing
back then, I still have a lot of stuff. Like she would do a lot of leaving, singing messages on my
that's just dope.
I still have all of those.
That's dope, man.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do you have any future things coming up that you want to promote right now?
Other than my internet radio station, and like I told you earlier, October 20th, 1992 was my first birthday party. That is actually the battery behind everything that I do, whether it's, the Art of Noise or whatever. The success of those parties have made it easy for me to do the things that I've done in my career. I did parties all my life, and on my 40th birthday, I said, you know what? I'm going to chill with the birthday parties. This is my last one. I said the only time I'll do another one is on my 50th. And my 50th is this year. So
what we doing?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So October, and I haven't even told anybody this yet, but
exclusive.
October the 17th through October the 20th. Yeah. I done locked down some venues. I'm gonna do like a Lonnie B birthday weekend.
Okay,
that's dope.
Yeah.
Definitely gotta be in the building.
That's dope. I'll make sure y'all.
We'll be in full effect.
Anything you need from us, you guys.
I'll make sure.
And even with your radio show, man, we can do to help out and let us know, man.
Yeah.
We want to be more in tune with what's going on in the community. You know what I'm saying?
So I think one thing that I will say is this, man. The power right now is in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that you guys are doing, the things I see a lot of people doing. If brothers came together and created like a network, like y'all have y'all audience, this person have their audience, that person have their audience. Instead of everybody looking to go to somebody else,
individually,
huge platform, y'all can create a platform that would be just as big, if not bigger, than the ones that you think that you want to be on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's hard to have everyone come together.
Yeah.
A lot of people have creative differences.
But not us.
Not us. Like we work with anybody. We work with anybody as long as you're serious about it. A lot of people, they want to. It's a clout thing, or they want to capitalize off of what you have.
Yeah,
like we get a lot of people that come, like people come to you and give you CDs, and give you, mixtapes. People come to, especially in the DMs. They hit us in DMs.
My God!
I want to come on the show and pop my shit. That's what we get all the time.
One girl said, she was like, I'm trying to be on your show. She don't even live here. I said, and what are you going to do?
Yeah,
what's your story, girl?
What do you want to do? How you going to do it? But we've had, like, anybody that's doing something positive in the city of Richmond, we are always trying to work. We done Placidity Beauty. We've done candles with Brittany. We've done...
even the joint with the
rappers,
the smoothie joint that was breaking out here.
We had AJ Brewer. We've trying to really do more into the community.
That's where it's at.
And I'm feeling like if we build these relationships, like with you, and even with this, I know you heard about the Charged Up Fest.
Of course, I know. I watched Noah doing his thing.
Shout out to Noah, man. Yeah. But even then, like we want to just collab with everyone that's doing something. Because we're doing something and we want to just bring our energy and put on for Richmond, man. For sure. I'm not from Richmond.
Yeah.
You might as well be.
But I love Richmond.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes I be loving Richmond more than people that's from here be loving Richmond.
You know? One thing you asked me earlier, did I go to counseling or therapy for the health thing? I did go to counseling and therapy. It's probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. But I wanted to bring it up. One of the things that I learned is when you were talking about the differences between creators and all the other things. One of the things that I learned, and I was actually guilty of it, we need to learn more how to listen to understand and not listen to respond. I think if we practice that a lot more, things that we feel are arguments or conflicts will become more conversations. And even if I respect you enough to say, I don't agree with you, but I can understand. I get, and that's for me, that's all I want to do is understand why. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to agree with me. I think but if we can create a space like that, and even aside from the music thing, aside from all the other stuff, they do a lot of things for women. I think as men, we need to come together and,
for sure.
Just kind of, leave, the egos and everything out the door and just come together and be men. Let's talk about fatherhood. Let's talk about entrepreneurship.
Let's talk about fatherhood.
Man, I'm a father.
He got all the kids.
I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I work a 9 to 5. This podcast shit is cool. Yeah. I like to talk, converse, and network, but I got kids that I'm trying to get home to every day. A wife that treat me right. I'm trying to give her the world, and you feel me? And it's sometimes people, we act like this isn't the life that we live. Like, you feel me? You're about family. You're about family. Like, that's what we have to come together and push that message, because when you look out there, you don't really see that. You see the turmoil, but is it because that's what we choose to talk about and always bring up? Let's change the dialogue, and what else can change from there?
Yeah, I mean, even like you said, even working a regular job. Like right now, the mentality of everybody is you got to be an entrepreneur.
Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. We have to have some consumers.
Yeah, there's people that work regular jobs that's eating good. But we don't showcase that enough.
Managing their money.
Yeah.
Right. It was great to have you, man.
That's an honor, bro.
We really hope to have you back again.
No, whenever. Listen, bro.
For sure.
Can you bring Aaliyah?
Huh?
Can you bring Aaliyah?
Of course. Yeah. She's actually about to go back to school. So yeah, but she would love to.
Next time.
That'd be nice.
Doing this, man.
No, for real Richmond legend. We've been listening to you since before we had to just sit in the back seat. Couldn't even sit in the front. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to you. Appreciate the hats.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure. Mine's over here, y'all. I got
yes, he came with gifts.
So for sure, man. Anything y'all need from me,
for sure.
I definitely,
just keep us in mind when the radio show.
Anything you need, if you need us to just show up and just hold space. And
we need some hosts. We all here, man.
So the crazy thing is, like, I have a spot downtown, 3rd and Broad. I've had that spot since 2019. Yeah. So everything is there. I think the biggest thing, and it's actually running. Like, you can actually, if I told you what it was, you can actually go to Apple Music, tune in, all those places, and listen to it right now. I just want to make sure that it's right before I push it out to the world. Because one thing I do know is once I put it out there, people are going to give me a chance to listen to it. Yeah. I just got to make sure it's right to keep them there. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. It was good to have you,
man.
Thanks for coming.
Man. Now he about to go to the Lions Den.
Yeah.
Y'all got doggone, you'll see him around
Thursdays.
Every Thursday.
Yeah.
Peace.
We out.
Bye.
It's getting lit, 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 it's getting lit. It's the Savage Report. It's the Savage Report. The Savage Report is the #1 podcast in the city. It's so gritty and so